Welcome back to the Pursuit of Progress podcast, the show where we break down real strategies to help you grow your mindset, your money, and your momentum. I'm Ben, and today we're talking about something that most people struggle with behind the scenes: confidence. Everyone wants to feel confident before they take the leap, but the reality, confidence doesn't come first. It's something that you earn. You build it one hard thing at a time. And today, Adam and I are going to show you how to do just that. Build your confidence. Adam, my man, how you doing?
What is going on, man? Hope you are having a nice day, and as well as all of our audience out there. And yeah, this is a good one, something that I've personally struggled with off and on really my entire life. So hopefully this gives our audience a little bit of value and hopefully a little bit of a kick in the butt to realize that they're awesome
Mhm.
and they can hopefully get a little bit more self-belief by the end of this episode.
Self-belief. I believe in you. I believe in me. I believe you're here. I believe that you matter. And I believe that this community is going to do great things together. When I
I
think about
believe I can
confidence,
fly
I believe I can fly.
and
Um,
touch the sky.
when I think about confidence, I used to believe it was something that you were either born with or you weren't. You either had it or you didn't. And that's going to kind of like an adolescent, younger Ben. And I wasn't always the most confident teen. And it's funny how we put these labels on ourselves. And I put that label on myself as a young man, as a teenager. And only later did I learn how it's something that you can develop, just like communication. You can become a better communicator. Well, you can also become more confident. And one of the biggest takeaways that I've learned from confidence is that it comes from action, not from thought. You don't become confident by waiting. You build confidence by doing. And one of my favorite quotes when it comes to confidence is from Mel Robbins, where she talks about you're never going to feel ready to do anything. And that's the whole point. Action is what kills doubt. Overthinking feeds it. If you want self-belief, stop thinking and start moving. It's also a reason that perfectionism is such a dangerous thing. The goal isn't to be perfect. The goal is to start moving.
Mhm. Yeah, my take on this one is just thinking about some of these monthly homebuyer masterclass webinars that you and I both have been doing. And the first few months, this has almost been going on for a year now, but for those first few months, I had a
Mhm.
little bit higher level of self-doubt, low confidence, just nervousness, just anxiety, all of these things that, everybody these days deals with. And I think the biggest, way that I dealt with that is by
Mhm.
preparation. And you build confidence by being prepared, by doing the work on the front end, rehearsing what you're going to be presenting, understanding and being really an expert at the content that you're providing, whoever it is that you're presenting to. If you have all of that, you're going to eliminate 90% of that self doubt, that,
Mhm.
anxiety, that feeling scared. You think about like even like in high school, like oral presentations, having to get up in front of the class and speak in front of 30 people. And I think a lot of the time, same thing there. I just didn't have the self confidence,
Mhm.
kind of these self limiting beliefs that I wasn't a good public speaker, all these
Yeah.
things. And that all comes down, same exact principle there. It comes down to preparation and just really taking action to kill any of that self doubt.
Yeah, and it's always interesting how when you start preparing and you get those reps in, you start rehearsing, and then all of a sudden you get passionate. There's this fire. You know what? I can do this. I am good at this. I am of value to others. I can help other people. I'm an expert on this topic, and it just changes your entire approach.
Hmm. Love that. Yeah, and then another one that I'd like to share with you guys is just understanding how to stack small wins to
Hmm.
build up that self trust. So it's not about doing something massive, something huge. It's about doing something small, but doing it consistently. Every win, every follow through, it builds a brick of self trust. Confidence, it doesn't show up all at once, it stacks slowly over time. And when you really keep those promises to yourself, you become someone that you can actually believe in.
Mm, that's so powerful.
Hmm.
And when you do those small things on a consistent daily basis, it really helps with a positive self image. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, man. 1000%.
When you're showing up and you're going to the gym every day, you're gonna think of yourself differently compared to the person that blows their workouts off or maybe doesn't even work out. When you're doing things that are challenging yourself every day, you're gonna have a very positive image of yourself.
And I would just add one last thing to that. For the days that you don't have much self confidence, self belief, at the end of the day, maybe
Mhm.
just think about, like, man, why? Why have I not been feeling that great today? Why don't I, feel the top of my game? And I bet if you do that audit of your day and
Yeah.
really are honest with yourself, I bet you're going to find a few things where you did, kind of bend and not do what you maybe needed to do. And that was probably a contributing factor to how you felt.
Mhm. Yeah, it's so impactful. That takes me to our the next thing that I wanted to share is belief. You're always hearing me talk about belief, vision, because it's something that I know has really changed my life. Having a compelling belief and vision and things, but sometimes you're going to need to borrow that. You're going to have some self doubt. You don't know if you can do it, and it's okay to borrow belief until you can build your own. You're not supposed to have it figured out all right away. None of us are. When you're starting something new for the first time, it's very intimidating. But when you start to build those skills and build it out, the way that I do that is if there's a certain area that I want to improve on, I'll start reading books on that topic and then I'll find a mentor to mentor me. And then all of a sudden, I'm feeling so much more confident. And Ed Milet talks about this all the time. Borrow belief until yours kicks in. Eventually, it's not going to be borrowed anymore. It's going to be built.
Hmm. Love that. Really, really good. I'd even add to that too, another one that I've been thinking about, which is understanding, replacing just some of the words that you use, some of
Yeah.
these just words that you're putting into your brain, whatever you feed your brain, whether it be on Instagram, social media, TV, the books you read, all this kind of stuff, whatever you're putting into yourself, it's just so important to understand that you can really trick yourself and replace certain words, certain mindset shifts to just not deal with nearly as much of the anxiety and self confidence, limiting self confidence.
Yeah.
One that I always recommend doing is replacing "What if I fail" with "What if this works?" And this is great for
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, especially if you're maybe at the early stages of, just should I really go for it? Is it really worth trying to develop this new product or service? Is it really worth, taking action and taking this leap of faith? Well, yeah, maybe, maybe not. But think about it this way. What would happen if you don't do that? What would happen if if you did do this and it worked? Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it something that, there's such a huge upside that it's worth taking that risk? Stop worrying about
Mm.
failing. Start worrying about, the missed opportunities if you don't do something.
My gosh. Yeah. My daughter shared this with me this morning. She was on a call last night with her performance coach. And she shared that in Hebrew, there's two different meanings for the word fear. And one of them is called, I'm probably not going to pronounce this right, but Yarha. And it's the fear that you get when you're on the path to your destiny. And both of us just kind of looked at each other and we're like, oh my gosh, that is so powerful. And kind of to your point there, like, what if this goes right? Well, it can be a little bit scary sometimes if you have this big bold dream and vision and what if and it's like, oh my gosh, like this can happen. But isn't that powerful?
Really powerful. Something that just hearing you say that just makes me realize I need to be better about really implementing that more in my life.
Hmm. Yeah, it's I've learned that and I'm still learning it, but I haven't shared this with you yet. But Grace and I are on the verge of starting something together, a business that we are really, really excited about. And like the only thing that I can stop, and we just kind of came to this conclusion this past weekend. And the only thing that I can think about is this is going to be effing huge. It's going to be incredible. We're going to help so many people. We're going to be able to make an impact all around the country. We're going to be able to help young people, and there's going to be an opportunity to have it be very resourceful for both of us. And I really, truly believe that. I'll cue you in the morning. Okay.
Wow, man, teasing. Okay. Hope I can
Teasing.
sleep tonight.
Yeah. You say, I can't, man. I could not sleep last night. I was so excited about this. Um,
I'll add that to really quickly is, when you change the question, you change the outcome. So
yeah,
really
okay.
thinking bigger, kind of like Ben's talking about with this new business idea with his girlfriend. Just putting bigger thoughts into your brain, and with those bigger thoughts, most likely you're going to have bigger results. So
Mm.
just a little extra side note.
Ask better questions, get better answers.
Mhm.
I've been working on that too in my conversations with folks. I'm tired of asking like boring questions. I'm going to ask you some difficult questions or some challenging or some interesting questions. I'm not going to be an attorney and deliberates and put you on the witness stand, but I want to ask some interesting questions to folks and get some great answers. Better questions get better answers. Let's talk about consistency as it relates to confidence, because consistency is what builds identity. At some point, it's not even about the outcome; it's about who you become. I talk about this so much with my daughter and her running journey. It's about who you become in the process. Jim Rohn talks about this. This is why you should have goals. And what he said is that everyone should have the goal to become a millionaire, every single person, because of what it will make of you. Because to achieve that, you have to learn to become consistent. And when you become consistent, you get used to doing hard things. You become resilient, powerful, strong. It makes you, and who you become is the reward. Confidence isn't a byproduct of consistency. It's waking up every day and proving to yourself, I do hard things. I keep showing up. I don't flinch. And eventually that becomes your identity. And identity is what drives your results.
Really good.
Gonna drop the mic.
So, just a couple last things to share with you guys. Just another couple quotes that I had pulled that I think are really valuable. One from Ed Milet that kind of piggybacks off what Ben was sharing earlier when it comes to just borrowing belief until you build your own, is
Mhm.
just how self confidence is the process of keeping promises to yourself.
Yeah.
And man, that's just, like Ben was saying, just about, the days that you miss the gym in the morning, those are the days that you probably don't feel as confident. Just
Yeah.
keeping the promises to yourself, and you'll be amazed at how much confidence can be built in a very short amount of time, too.
Mhm.
And then the other one I think is also really, really good is just understanding how you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And systems are built from belief. So let me say that again. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, and systems are built from belief.
Okay,
I think this
wow.
is just something that can really be implemented really to any way in life, whether it be your career, maybe weight loss, maybe just having a better relationship with your kids or your significant other. There's
Mhm.
just a lot of ways you can really implement that will make a big difference.
Mm. That's great.
So, guys, if this episode, if it gave you a push, send it to somebody who maybe needs that same nudge that we gave you today. Tag us, let us know what point really landed the hardest for you out of these. And remember, you don't have to feel confident to take action, but taking action is what builds confidence.
All right, guys. This is the pursuit of progress. Keep showing up, keep stacking those wins, and we will see you next week. For Benjamin Adams and Adam Lang, this is the Pursuit of Progress podcast. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.